What up, y'all? This is Corey File Notice Media,
This is Drew.
and we're gonna be plastered for this episode. That's how we're gonna roll with the Venom 2019 movie review. So, just saw it, just got back from the theaters. It's gonna be first impressions, and what'd you think about it, man?
Well, I started watching this movie. I saw this movie without knowing anything about the Venom series. I never read the books or the comics. Know the storyline behind all the symbiotes or anything. And so going to this movie, it was kind of like, let's see what it brings. And what I saw was dope. It was super cool.
No, I was surprised. I was happy with it too. I wasn't sure if I would be.
There's only like a few parts in the whole movie where I was like, all right, I can't follow. I don't know what's going on.
Sure. I feel like there was a couple of parts too for me.
It wasn't the storyline though.
Yeah, so first off, because I like to talk about like the pacing and stuff like that. I thought the pacing was really good. I think the first act set everything up very, very well. The second act, the first act might take people off because they might feel that it's too long, but it does a lot of character development and story building, which was really important to understand Eddie Brock's character in this, because it was done way better than Spider-Man 3. Way better than Spider-Man 3. And then the second act kicks off with him getting the Venom symbiote. So you probably got like a good, 20, 30 minutes in the first act.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Probably.
And then the third act is basically when you kind of find out the plot.
Right.
And when things start rolling off with that. And the movie went by fast for me. I think it was because I was enjoying it so much.
The movie is directed by
Zombieland guy.
Ruben Fletcher, right?
Fletcher, that's right, yep.
And the main characters in this are primarily Tom Hardy playing Venom.
Yeah, Tom Hardy is absolutely the lead role, for sure. And I'm surprised we got to see his fiancée Anne in it for as much as we did.
Right.
I didn't think she would be such a main character. Yeah.
I gotta say, the beginning of the movie, I was actually captured pretty well. I wanted to keep watching it.
Yeah.
I wasn't all right, come on.
Yeah, because normally for me, the first acts seem to take a while, and you're like, all right, come on, let's get to it. But I didn't feel that with this, and I think that's just because Tom Hardy is just a freaking good actor. I really do. I think he's captivating, and I liked how he portrayed Eddie Brock. He didn't seem stupid to me.
Yeah.
Eddie Brock seemed like Eddie Brock from the comics anyway, for the most part. I mean, depending on what comics you're reading.
You know what it reminded me of? Do you remember the movie Gamer?
Yes, okay.
Gerard Butler?
Yeah.
His Tom Hardy in this movie reminded me a lot of Gerard Butler.
I could see that.
I fucking love Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
I think he's a great actor.
And and I don't mean this to sound bad about the movie, but I felt like this was like a late 90s superhero movie. And I love Tomb Raider, so I'm not trying to talk down about this movie, but this movie kind of felt like the first Tomb Raider a little bit. How it had a lot of good action in it, how they had a lot of chase scenes in it.
And a lot less titties.
There's a lot less titties, unfortunately. But yeah, I was getting that kind of vibe. It might just be because of that, but I was like, man, I feel like this was where you get a little bit of storyline and a lot of its action and everything like that. How can you, I feel like it might have been a throwback for me because they were doing chase scenes through San Francisco. And I can't tell you the last time I've seen a good chase scene through the Sacramento streets. Through the San Francisco streets.
Hello.
But that was super cool. And then the bike scene and everything. I would say, be advised, everything but the final fight is in the trailers.
It is.
Yeah, so the motorcycle scene is a big scene, and then where Venom goes up against the SWAT team. that was the second fight scene, and then you have the third fight scene. And yeah, unfortunately, they had both of those in the trailer, so that kind of sucked. But we just got to see little snippets. There was way more to it. Like that chase, like dude, when they were chasing him on his motorcycle, that lasted a long time.
It was probably like 15. No, it wasn't 15.
I don't think it was
maybe
15, but
10 minutes.
it was a good chunk of time. I was like, oh, okay.
I actually want to say that the fight scenes, not the car chase scene, the fight scenes were the worst part of the movie for me.
You know, I'd have to agree. If I had to pick this apart, besides some things that we'll talk about in the spoilers.
Yeah.
The fight scenes, and I think that's just because, was it CGI for you? It was just too CGI?
It was too CGI.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't see what was happening.
And
like it all just felt like a big blur.
I know. Yeah, I know.
It was just going too fast.
And
like the human brain can only process like 60 frames per second, and this thing just felt like it was just too much. There's too much going on. There was
a lot going on, and I didn't like the camera work during the fight scenes.
Well, yeah, they were shaking the camera the whole time.
Yeah, they were doing shaky cam, and I don't like that at all. Yeah.
So not only was it CGI, you had shaky cam, plus Venom being a symbiote, so he's pieces. So then there's pieces everywhere, and you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at.
Yeah. So there was some issues there. I know that's funny that you said that, because I was like, dude, the worst part about this movie was the fight scenes. Like besides the car chase, anyway. I like the car chase.
Car chase was cool.
But yeah, the second and the third fight scene, I was like, oh man, like these are my least favorite parts. Like I like the interaction between him and Venom. I like the interaction between Eddie Brock and Anne. Like,
you know what?
I like the interaction between the Doctor and Anne and Eddie Brock. Like all of that was really, really good. I enjoyed it.
Super cool part that I think was in the trailer was when Riot, he's one of the symbiotes that takes a host on Earth. Mm-hmm. Inside the scene where he just takes the blades and just cuts.
Yeah, that was really cool. And see, and we thought when we saw that on the trailer, we thought that was Venom. We were like, what? Yeah. What's going on here? So yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes too. Even though it was in the trailer, I was like, that was super badass.
Yeah, it was super
cool. Yeah, that was super cool.
And something I didn't really expect out of this movie was the humor. In this movie, there were some scenes. It's like really the humor is like one word that just all of a sudden Venom will say, and you're like, oh, what?
Yeah,
that was so good.
Yeah, Venom had a couple of really good lines in there, and I can't hate on it for that, dude, because I know you're not a comic book reader.
Yeah,
but they had Deadpool's Secret Wars, or the Secret Wars of Deadpool's Secret Wars, something like that, something cheesy. Mm-hmm. And Deadpool got a hold of the Venom symbiote before Spider-Man did, and that's why Venom was like kind of crazy. And like I feel like they kind of played into that maybe a little bit. But I mean, it was definitely, they took parts of it from, if you're a comic book reader, they definitely took parts of it from Planet of the Symbiotes for sure, and I liked that a lot. Because that's when they go through and explain that Venom is kind of like a bitch on his planet, and that's why him and Eddie Brock get along so good, because they're both such underdogs.
Yeah.
And well, okay, I don't want to. All right, hold on. We'll get into spoilers after this. So, if you were gonna rate the movie, just a 1 out of 10.
I'm gonna have to give it an 8. I'm gonna have to give it an 8.
Dude, I know it was good, right?
I gotta say, like, everything about the movie was great. The only thing that I would say that I didn't like was the action.
Yeah.
Really, like
because it's just the CGI. I know, right? See, and
it was just so hard. It was so hard to look at. It was a tough thing to look at, and unfortunately, like those scenes kind of were like turning points in the different parts of the movie. So
yeah, they were. And see, I've been like teetering it on the 7 to the 8, but I want to give it an 8 too, because I don't know how you can do Venom without a lot of CGI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't do puppetry with Venom. Like, he's like going to be pulling off of the host and all this crazy stuff, and it's like, how can you do that without so much CGI in it? I don't know. Like, I can't. It's not like the fucking remake of The Thing, where you had a thing that was made in the frickin' 70s, and it was all puppetry, and it looked way better than the thing that came out in, like, 2013 or whatever. Yeah. Like, that thing was bad because it had so much CGI. But I I feel like I have to give it a slight pass because I don't see any other way that you could do Venom without a lot of CGI.
So yeah, if you're thinking about going to watch this movie, I would say if you don't know how it's gonna be, I didn't know what I was gonna think of this movie, and it was good, dude.
Yeah, and as a comic book reader, I was worried a lot. And I enjoyed it. Like, it's not like 1-for-1 ratio on the comic books, so I mean, if you're going to nitpick it apart, you could definitely nitpick it apart. But overall, it was good. Yeah, 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go watch it.
Yeah, definitely watch it in the theaters, and I'm going to buy it when it comes out.
Yeah.
And dude, this might be, I would have really, really liked a rated R. I would have really liked a rated R.
PG-13?
This was a PG-13 movie, and I didn't realize that till we got out of the movie. When I was looking at the runtime. Yeah, I was like, oh, it's PG-13? And if you look back and think about it, there's like no blood. There's very little cussing throughout the movie. And like, I gotta be honest with you, my daughter, Sheely's gonna love this movie.
Yeah.
Like, she is, dude, and I'm almost like kind of happy it's PG-13 because now I feel like I can show it to her, and she's not gonna be... I'm not going to have to wait a long time to show it to her, and maybe she'll like lose interest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for it being a Venom and a PG-13, as much as I would have really liked for it to be R and to have him ripping off heads, and like when the symbiote was in the guy in the very, very beginning, I was like half expecting it just to be like, just a bloodbath. But they didn't do it. And I was like, ooh, is this PG-13? I'm going to have to look at this when we get out. But that kind of makes me happy that it's not. That way I can share it with my daughter. Yeah. So we're good. So we're going to get into spoilers right now. That's what we're going to do. We're going to spoil stuff. Okay.
So if you're done watching for right now, we will...
Get out of here.
Yeah. Well, we're going to break this up into 2 videos, right?
Yeah.